And we are live. What is up, everyone? Welcome to FSP episode number 107. This is Fun Speculation Podcast where we usually get to talk a little bit about all the platforms. So we try a lot of Xbox talk still because our bias is apparent. But thanks everybody for joining today. And the chat, you guys rock. Thanks always for being here. We've had a poll in the chat to start the show that kind of mirrored my poll I had on Twitter going on the last day, which had a crazy amount of people actually vote on that poll. I don't know why.
Yeah, it was like thousands.
There's like 4,000 votes on that poll, which is like, I mean, usually it's like a couple hundred or something, but like that one for some reason like took off. But it's an interesting question because like I'm trying to get in the mind frame of like there's so much Gears hype right now. You know, we just had a Forza release last year. Forza Horizon is still popular. We have a new Fable coming around the corner. And so like for me, like some of the staple franchises were always like Halo, Gears, Forza, and then Fable, but Fable's been gone for so long, right? But now it's like they're all back in a form or fashion. And we got new Halo 7 information yesterday as well, that kind of came from a announcement of a new lead designer from the next Halo, right? So yeah, just kind of get a frame for these classic Xbox franchises, like where people sit with them, like what's the favorite one. And there's been so much people down on Halo for so long, and there's now rejuvenated hype for Gears. I wanted to see where it sat. And we'll go over those results a little bit, and I gotta be honest with you, I'm a little surprised by the results. And I think they're legitimate though because of the amount of votes that it got. I think that's a fair enough sample size. But also kind of mirrors almost exactly what's happening in our chat right now with 40 votes. But shout out to everybody again for joining, and I appreciate you all being here. If you're here for YouTube or if you're watching on an audio platform of your choice, you all rock, and thanks for being a part of what we do. We got two amazing pixelated echoers here, Fuzzy and 3-Bit. What's up, Fuzz? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Glad to be here with you guys. Yeah, it's been pretty much well, it's just the beginning of the week, but some Capcom stuff happened. Still excited from the Xbox showcase. We got some more info coming up about Avowed probably between now and Gamescom.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm revisiting some old games. Back into Division 2. Still playing Forza Horizon 5. Wasn't one of the lucky ones to get a free copy of Forza Horizon 4, but I bought the full edition, so it's to be expected. But pretty cool things that Microsoft's doing. Some pro-consumer moves, but yeah, I'm voting. Obviously Forza is the best Xbox franchise,
right.
But that's just me. But
that doesn't surprise me. That's the only one of these that actually has two mainstay offshoot franchises now, because you have Horizon. That's on its 5th iteration, and you have Motorsport, which is 9th, right? Or was this 8th? I can't remember.
It's 8th. But if you count Apex, that was kind of like 6, but for PC. So I call it 8th.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been 13 mainline Forza games in one way or another.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy if you really think about it.
Time was pretty quick, and strong player base. So I mean, it's not gonna get the glory of a Halo or Gears, but
there was a lot of people shooting the Forza praise. Like you could tell the racing fans, because like on the poll in the comments, like because they would have like racing tags and like their handles, and then they'd have like race like a car for a picture, and then they'd show like the screenshots of their gameplay time. It'd be like 87 days in Forza Motorsport and 1,000 days in Horizon or whatever. And it's not hours, it's days. When you start getting to the hundreds of days instead of hours, that's your game, right? How you doing, 3-Bit? What's up, man?
I'm good, man.
You just flipped your camera. Like I
did.
I realized it was backwards before, but now it's right. okay.
Yeah, I saw on the stream I was backwards, so I was like, I could fix
Yeah.
this, and then
Discord's
I
weird.
yeah, it is weird. Does it flip it naturally on
It flips it
this?
for yourself, but everybody else
Uh,
sees you normal. But
okay.
so for me, it doesn't work because I'm screen capping this. So I have
Oh,
to use
and
another
where
app and then flip my screen so that way I show up for myself normal.
oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Were we always reverse? I just
Yeah, so you
randomly
should see
noticed.
yourself backwards right now, right?
I'm seeing myself backwards, but on
But
the
for us it's normal.
stream,
Yeah.
it should be
That's just the
normal, I
way it
guess.
works on Discord, man. It's
I
weird.
didn't even notice before.
I
We
don't
probably have had
It's the
hundreds of episodes.
stupidest design decision that they've like. I don't know why. Hey, let's make yourself backwards for yourself and everybody else seeing you normal. Like, how does that make any damn sense?
Yeah, I don't know why. Well, like who did that?
Yeah, come on,
Bad.
Discord.
Uh, but no, it's been a good week, man. Today I've been just working. Honestly, I played a little bit of Animal Crossing because my Switch was like dusty, so I was like, and I was like, yeah, let's see what's on here. And then I was playing a little bit of that. Apparently, I called my island Narnia Land at some point,
Oh,
so that's what my island is called. Yesterday when I before Pixelated Echoes, I tried to set up my my internet my box. So I tried to go through my wall and put the Ethernet wire more so closer to the computer. And then I almost fell through the roof.
oh, you almost fell through the. Oof. I
Yeah.
have a story I could tell you about that.
Yeah, I was very close to almost falling through the roof, but I didn't. But there is a memory of me now on the ceiling. So that's nice.
Yeah,
Um,
you got to
but
step on the rafters, bro.
I slipped. I was
Oh,
like
okay.
on the little wooden beam, and then I was like, "What?" And then I barely touched it, but then it was like, if
Mhm.
I stayed on it for like a millisecond longer, I probably would have just fell.
Yeah,
But I'm okay. It was very adventurous. I will go back up there. It's not done. I'm determined to get that wire
you could get
on
some
this side.
plywood and put it down. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I guess all it is plywood, right? It's just some plywood and
Well, up there you're gonna have like a bunch of 1x4s and stuff
yeah,
like down there, but like you could just get some
from like Home
like
Depot or
yeah,
something.
get like a couple 1x6s, and you can actually like use them and put them across the rafters. You can actually walk on the 1x6s, you know, so you can just keep moving them, or you can just leave them there and have a pathway you build for yourself. Get some you know, plywood and lay it down
Yeah, because
flat,
it's
make a
only on
floor.
the initial like it's in this room, so like that ladder comes
Yeah,
down, and the first part does have some wood, and then the rest doesn't. So I probably could just put it down on the rest, but
yeah.
yeah. And that's no, I'm not moving again. This is this is the spot. This is the new spot. I'm upgrading where I'm living. But no, it's been good. It's been good. Ace Attorney as well. Been playing that. That game is awesome. I was telling Fuzzy the other day, I'm on episode 3 of Ace Attorney. Been enjoying other types of games that usually are text, lots of text, no voiceovers usually. It's just a lot of you know,
Yeah.
even Animal Crossing. So maybe that's
Yeah,
my
the voices are weird.
that's my thing. So yeah, it's been good.
Nice, man. I did actually step through a customer's ceiling before in the attic.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was, and they didn't hear, you know, but my foot was like all the way through, you know, um,
Dang.
and I slipped too, and they didn't hear, and I just sat there for a little while because like it hurt, you know, also like, and I just sat there for a little while. I'm like, well, how am I going to handle this? And I was just like waiting for them to come upstairs and then see my fucking foot hanging from their ceiling with the sheetrock and insulation and stuff all poured down. Nobody came, you know, nobody ever said anything, did anything. So,
Like, we'll leave you to
like,
it.
well, I'm going to end up having to just kind of go downstairs and tell them I fucked up their ceiling, you know, but we ended up taking care of them and stuff, but it's not a fun situation. I'm
Yeah,
glad you
was it
didn't
just like
ruin your new ceiling. That for your
I
new
was very
place.
close.
Yeah.
It's like if you walk in my room, you probably won't even kind of see it unless you're really paying attention. But it's there. It's like a crack in the
Yeah.
ceiling, and it has a little hole thing now. But I think I could just patch that up somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
You'll be all right.
yeah, it'll be fine.
So shout out to the chat real quick. What's up, Ducato, Void Rat, Luis Jose, Jasper's there hanging out from outer space. What's up, Thatch? How's it going? Calorie, what's up, dude? How are you doing? Machine XP says, to be honest, those are some pretty damn good series for Xbox who have had to hang their hats on for so many years. Yeah, I agree, 100%. What's up, Lydian Master? How's it going? Let's see here. Snooky Jackson, Masshole, Coach Hooded Canuck. What's up, Brett Bingham, Poison Maniac, Isaac Hayes, 85, E-Ranks, Back from the Dead 1, Brandon Martin. See that? It's the second white logo I've seen in the chat now besides 3 bits is for Back from the Dead. That means 3-year membership, bro.
What
It's
did you
fucking
say?
crazy. Back from the Dead's got a white FS there. Like yours. Yeah.
Yep.
Brandon Martin,
How you do it?
shout out. Shangri-La for life. How's it going? RSJ fan, what's up? True Serum, how's it going? Yeah. And let's end this poll here because this is going to be leading into the discussion. Oh, what's up, Cyber Gunter? The poll is blocking Cyber Gunter. What's up, dude?
Oh yeah, he was banned from the poll.
And Luke, what's up, Luke? Did I say Luke? Did I somehow skip Luke? Star Traffic, what's up with you too? How's it going? Yeah, in the poll, Halo 40% still. This is based on 55 votes here, so we'll add that to the 4,250 on Twitter. What's up, Web Dave? Halo 40% here. Gears of War 32%. Forza 16%. Fable 10% for the Xbox's best franchise. Now, Xbox today, much different. Like you can add. I saw people on Twitter. I asked, "Hey, if it's not one of these, what is your favorite?" And I saw a lot of people be like Elder Scrolls. Yep, that's the Xbox franchise now. A Fallout favorite franchise. Yep, that's the Xbox franchise now. Obviously, Call of Duty, right? Diablo. So, but like still mentally, we don't think of those as Xbox franchises, but over time we will. You can add Doom to that now as well, right? And it kind of shows now how big Xbox is that you have all these other massive games and stuff. But I wanted to focus on the classic franchises for this. And I was a little surprised. I thought Gears was gonna actually take this now because of the hype around Gears and the love for Gears still. Like,
Been close on the polls.
It was pretty close, but 39% still ran with Halo as the best and favorite Xbox franchise. Gears at 32%, Forza at 13.5%, Fable at almost 15%. So Fable actually beat out Forza, which was pretty surprising for me there as well. But seeing that Halo had a decently substantial, like 7% lead on Gears, I kind of expected Gears to be slightly ahead with how down everybody's been over the years, negative about Halo all the time, right? And then Gears, we just had the showcase and the Gears E-Day. Everybody's like, yeah, fuck yeah, Gears is back. And everybody's talking all this Gears stuff and everything. But yeah, the love for Halo was showing up and showing out on this poll. And it kind of shows how much Xbox fans still love the franchise, right? We just got news yesterday about the new lead designer for the new Halo. And he comes from Bungie and then he went on to do some other live service games and stuff. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it. And there's been a lot of negativity about the game for so long, but really Halo Infinite is still a great game. I saw a couple people comment and said all of these franchises are irrelevant in 2024. Like really, okay, so we just had a Fable that looked amazing at the showcase, right? That's coming out next year. Okay, so Fable's not irrelevant. There's a brand new one coming out next year. Gears is not irrelevant. Like you had just had
Perfect
it's a
Dark is
talk.
coming back after
Yeah,
how many years?
Gears you just had, it was a talk of showcase season, right? Everybody was talking about Gears. That out of all the games that we saw, everybody was still talking about Gears. Halo has still got a good player base online, and they're making a new Halo, which they've already talked about. And then Forza Motorsport just dropped last year, and Forza Horizon 5 is still massive, right? Like, for anybody to try and downplay those classic Xbox franchises, sorely mistaken about the history and excitement and amount of people that still love these games. And I think that when there's a new Halo gets announced, when there's a new trailer or a new thing for Fable, when there's a new Forza Horizon announced, when there's another thing like that, all these people that are trying shit on all these Xbox classic franchises will kind of look kind of dumb. But like this Gears E-Day, man, has so much hype around it right now. So that it did surprise me. Were you surprised, Fuzzy, that Halo actually still, despite everything, still seems to reign king as the Xbox franchise?
It kind of, yeah. Like with the recency of E-Day, I think with them going back and doing that prequel and the characters that they're going to have involved and the timeline as opposed to the younger crowd, the kids, instead of going back to that, I would have thought that that would have surpassed what people have envisioned for Halo. But and again, Halo is, what really well, I wouldn't say it started Xbox, but it's pretty much like the first tentpole franchise for them. So I can understand the loyalty and still the love for that series and stuff. But I think it may have been a bigger split if it wasn't for E-Day. If that's the case, I think possibly. But it just feels weird that it would be that far apart in comparison, just considering that the showcase more recently. Now, if we hear something about Halo at Gamescom or possibly later in this year, because they're going to have something ready for when they do the next gen, and they're going to probably have a next gen Halo for that next console as well. If it's cross gen, so be it. But they got to be having something in the works that they're going to show us in like a year or so, or within, I would say, probably the next 12 months or less, that we'll at least get like a taste or a peek at what they've been working on. Plus certain affinity, but yeah, I would have thought the recency bias would have helped Gears a little bit more on that poll. But then again, I also thought that the Forza would be a bit higher considering recency bias. We haven't had a Fable in a while, although the trailer, don't get me wrong, looked amazing. And it's one of those things where it is a beloved franchise. It's taken a break for some time between the Xbox One generation up to now. So, yeah, it's interesting results.
Yeah. What about you, 3-Bit? Like, are you surprised by these results whatsoever? Or
No, I think maybe I'm a big Halo fanboy, right? But here's the thing. Xbox wouldn't be here, I don't think, without Halo. To that degree. It was like it's the reason why there's MLG. And it basically started up MLG and and all that different stuff. And I still think it has a huge fan base. I think the bad thing about the Halo fan base is they can be kind of toxic in terms of the hatred. They can never really be satisfied. But if you match up Infinite to any modern day first person shooter games, it's up there. It's still one of the best. Just the Halo series in general, like every single Halo to me has been like really good. You can say what you want about like it's like, oh, I don't like it compared to this Halo or what have you, but each Halo for me has been very good in quality. Something you can expect, but Yeah, in terms of maybe where the fan base is looking, Gears is definitely on that hype train right now. But um yeah, I still think a lot of people still love Halo. They're just waiting. And I think a lot of people are excited about where the next Halo is going to go. Uh,
Yeah.
where it could go with Halo 7 now that they have the lead designer and things like that. That's an interesting conversation. But yeah, I love Halo. It's the reason why I'm an animator and industry and stuff. So I have my own personal love for Halo. So that's why I voted for it on your
Yeah.
poll. I'm sure a lot of people have the same thing. Like I remember that's the one game a lot of people would be in rooms with and doing split screen tournaments and stuff like that. And I think people still have that inside of them. Um, and they want to see that franchise come back
Yeah.
strong. So
I mean,
probably
I would vote Halo also. I still like, I think it's been underutilized, right? But I still think it's like the best franchise, and not even necessarily like with the fault of like any specific game about shortcomings or anything like that. Just like overall, there's been so much pressure on each mainline release, you know, and there's less spin-offs than there should be. That like I just think overall it's been underutilized as a franchise, and like I think a lot of Xbox fans want to see more Halo in different
yep.
ways, right? And they just generally have a love for Halo, and it's like been disappointing at times with like, okay, what are you doing? Like this is a great game, but okay, what about this? What about this? What about this? And it's like, come on, like we just want all the fucking Halo all the time, and it's like trying to pull it out of them, and that's the kind of frustrating thing. But it shows that I think the community in general, like just their heart still picks Halo, right, over even recency bias with either Gears or Fable or like or the more continuous releases and amount of content. Like we said, there's like 13 fucking Forza games, right? In one way or another, and there's usually not a long wait for one or the other, or either Horizon or Motorsport, because they kind of have alternated. The most longest wait we had was between Horizon 5 and Forza Motorsport, I think. So in general, there's always like Forza to look forward to, and there hasn't ever been one that people consider bad. You know, Motorsport, this latest one is like lacking a little bit in some features and stuff, but it's adding amazing stuff over time. Like but Horizon launched to another stratosphere this last game. So with especially kind of spreading out to more casual audiences and like PC gamers and all these other kind of things as well, like Horizon has gotten kind of more mainstream beyond just Xbox, right? With that
yeah.
game.
When you're kind of talking about franchise, I'm just thinking about it as a whole, like from Gears 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Tactics. And then I'm like, okay, I really like those,
Yeah.
especially Gears 1 through 3 were like almost 10 out of 10s for me. Gears 1 through 3 is just amazing games. Um, and then you have Forza, of course, which I would jump in and out of the Forza franchise. Like I loved like the Horizon series for sure, Motorsport, and then I jumped out of for a little bit and then jumped back in. So that's why I didn't vote for Forza. Fable, like Fable 1 I really loved. And then 3 was like a hit or miss for some
Yeah.
people, but I loved 2. Like the co-op in 2 was amazing. So I was just kind of thinking of the franchises as a whole, and then when I was thinking about Halo, I was like, dang, Halo 1 was like perfect for me. Halo 2 like was incredible. Halo 3 I loved. And then you have Reach, which like made me almost tear up towards
Yeah.
the end. Then you have 4, and the relationship with Cortana was really cool. Then you have Halo 5, which was like people didn't really like, but I thought the gameplay was like pretty cool and different. And then you have Infinite. So like that, and then ODST, and stuff like that. So yeah, I think you're right. People just want more from Halo. I seen some people in chat was talking about like, yeah, it has some spin-offs and stuff like that. But I think what people want from Halo is more.
Right.
They just want more. Like I want to see more a third person action adventure Halo. It's just I always compare Halo to Star Wars because it's a massive universe and we don't have a lot of games that support that massive universe. We have some top-down games, like Spartan Strike or whatever it was called,
Yeah, yeah. Spartan
and
Assault and
stuff like
Spartan
that.
Strike. Yeah.
Yeah, but we just want more. I would love to see a horror-based Halo with the Flood and things like that. So I remember there was an interview with Bonnie. I forgot her name. Um,
Bonnie Ross.
Bonnie Ross, where she was talking about not wanting to oversaturate the market, which is why they're like just focus on like one Halo every
And that goes back to
couple
Bungie days
years.
too. That was like part of Bungie's philosophy back when they were part of Microsoft and everything, because they talked about like,
Yep.
well, we don't want to do too much because people get like sick of it and stuff like that, and it's like, no, just fucking give us the games, bro. And that's why they only had one big spinoff, really, which was Halo Wars, right? Because I consider
Yep.
ODST almost like an expansion that was turned into its own
Yeah, it was
game.
pretty much like Halo
Yeah,
3.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like Halo Wars was another kind of game in the same universe, right? And they had the mobile games and stuff, but those were just like those were okay, but those were small experiences, not really anything that's gonna generate a lot of hyper excitement, like there's so many genres, so many possibilities that they could do with it. And one concern I had is when they started going on this acquisition spree, like to get all these other studios and get all these other publishers and stuff, is like, okay, now they got Fallout, now they got Elder Scrolls, now they got Doom, now they got Call of Duty, and all these other things. And those franchises, a lot of them are bigger sales wise than Halo because they've been everywhere, right? And
Yeah.
Halo's been that Xbox thing where Xbox used to be Halo used to be king of the shooters, right? Call of Duty just completely demolished that and took it to another
Now their
stratosphere,
enemy is their friend.
Right, now they have Call of Duty, which is like the shooter, right? So it's kind of like part of my fear a little bit with even though Xbox gets stronger, getting all these other awesome franchises and stuff, is that they like steer away from the classic franchises, right? But I think here seeing this news that we got, like, okay, they're still focused on Halo. They talk about it a lot. They have the new lead designer there. They're still doing content with Halo Infinite. They're doing a good job with that now. They have a new Fable coming. They have Gears, and it seems like they're super invested into these franchises still. So my like confidence with these franchises that I love, that caused me to love Xbox to begin with, right? The love the brand and the identity of it, and the things that have become synonymous with it, like they're still pushing forward and stuff. And I would hate to see a world where Xbox is only Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Call of Duty, Doom, things like that used to be just big publisher multiplats, right? So yeah, I think it's good, man. And I think these are going to be kind of like those more so bigger draws to create that brand identity. And this is also some of the franchises they're choosing to do transmedia with and stuff like that too, right? So
Yep,
yeah,
for
I'm
sure.
curious
It
to
was
see what's going to
like
happen in the future.
we have our gripes with the Halo show, but um it was still one of the most watched on Paramount. A lot of people
Yeah.
did tune in for both seasons, so they see that at least streaming wise as as a success. And I enjoyed season 2 more than season 1. I mean, I just treat it as a separate thing
Yeah.
from the main lore, so I already kind of treat it different. But yeah, it was pretty good. Also, Decado. You want to get that?
Yeah. I'm gonna get
Get
a couple
Decado.
things. Leonard Herrera earlier, member for 7 months, says, "Love you guys. Happy 4th, you all." Yeah, appreciate you, bro. Happy 4th to you too. Yeah, 4th of July is gonna be on Thursday, so we will not have PM in the PM on Thursday. But yeah, happy 4th for everybody. Calorie re-upped his membership and became a speculator. Choo choo, motherfucker. Let's go. Welcome to the speculators. Calorie.
Choo choo, choo choo.
And not to be outdone, Mr. Ducato. Taking us from, what is it? What does Pong say? Starting at a Mach 2.5 or whatever. All the way now, surging forward at a Mach 3.0 with the speculation train. You guys fucking rock. Thank you, Ducato, for gifting 5 fun speculation memberships.
Choo
Let's go.
choo choo.
Let's go.
Choo choo, choo choo. All right. Anyway. You guys rock. Hey, I still like. I saw Luke saying all these members is awesome. Yeah, for some reason, like our community here, like on Fun Speculation, just it was super generous and like you see a lot of fucking green names, bro. A lot of fucking green names for the kind of a smaller channel that we are. Like the ratio of amount of members that are here to like people that watch and stuff is like mind blowing sometimes. You guys fucking rock. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm kind of curious, like, where do we rank personally, like 1 through 4? Like for those, like, I know I'm putting you on the spot. We didn't talk about this at all, right?
Yeah.
Oh fuck! Hold on. Leonard Herrera, not to be outdone, says let's add another fucking car to the choo choo motherfucker Indiana Jones train. Whatever. Let's go.
Shout out Leonard with the 5 speculation.
It's
Let's
a
go,
Leonardo Herrera. Thank you, Leonardo. Appreciate it very much, sir. Leonardo. It's actually Leonard Herrera, but I say Leonardo. I don't know why I
wish I could do it like Pong. Like Pong's like, we've taken it on a train. We're putting the coal in the fire, and we have now reached a 3.5.
Yeah.
Mach. Get on the train, everybody. It's going fast. Let's go.
I think it's just
something like that.
more fun to say Leonardo than Leonard. But yeah. Is it Leonard Herrera is obviously not Leonardo. Is it okay if I call you Leonardo? It's kind of fun.
He's like, oh.
No, I'm just kidding with you. Thanks to Leonard. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
Totally Leonardo. Let's go. Yes, Leonardo. Okay. All right.
Choo choo. Choo choo.
Let's go, Leonardo.
All right, we're fucking going crazy. All right. Anyway.
You said all right, so you said the best. Was it 4?
Yeah, put you on the spot a little bit. Like we got these 4 franchises now. I just erase these 4 and think of just in general. I want your top 4 Xbox franchises. Like now, remember they have Call of Duty now. They have Fallout. Everything's in play. I don't want to take anything. I don't want to make any arbitrary rules here. Your heart. Which do you love the best out of all the properties that Xbox now owns?
Man,
this it's tough. I just want the top 4. Who wants to go first? Are you confident?
Fuzzy wants to go first.
See, I almost have to do it as like ones for me versus the ones that are probably for the masses. Like I'm still going to say Forza is my favorite.
This is for you, man. Like this is just for you. This is Fuzzy's heart.
Now, after Forza, I'm going to probably say honestly, I'm going to say Starfield. It's Forza, Starfield,
okay, and
Call of Duty, because there's some good memories with Call of Duty, mainly for campaign, not as much multiplayer. And then that 4th one, that's having that cutoff is a tough one. Yeah, I'm going to be the oddball again. Flight Sim.
Oh,
that's a long-standing Microsoft franchise as well.
No, I mean that's a great one, dude. We got a new one coming this year. It's still so fucking relaxing to play, like Flight Sim, and fun. People say it's not a game. Is any simulator a game then at that point? Like what do you call a game and not a game? Like people fucking play like Supermarket Simulator. You know, like is that not a game? I was sitting there power washing shit for like 2 months. right? Just nonstop. I was addicted to power washing stuff with Power Wash Simulator. Was that not a game? It was fun and addicting and relaxing, you know. But I didn't hear people saying like, "Oh, you can't call this a game," right? But people, for some reason, flight sims like, no, not
I
enough
look at it
action.
as a potential lifesaver. Oh, and this is going to sound crazy, but I always looked at it as if the pilot ever gets sick and they're like, "Can anybody fly a plane?" Yeah, I think I can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Because I'm afraid of flying, and it's probably because I'm not the one doing the flying, and I've been on at least 2 planes that tried to land on other planes that were on runways. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's why I like flight sim, because it's like at some point I need to get my pilot license. But yeah,
yeah.
I would love to have the joystick thing for Flight Sim, or actually have the wheel um
yeah.
third party accessory for Forza. It would make those that experience even more seamless.
I
But
got
yeah,
the
that's good.
HOTAS one for flight sim, which yeah, it's way up on the shelf right now. And then I got the Logitech. I think it's that their 490 or whatever, the one with the pedals,
Hmm.
the 3 pedal setup, and I don't have the shifter. Never got the shifter for that one, but
Heck
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you went first because it gave me time to think a little bit. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna cheat a little bit on the last one because it has to be tied. I can't. But Halo's number one. I love
Okay.
Halo. Again, it's the reason why I'm editing and in the industry and stuff like that. Like Halo, giving props to Halo. Um, two. This was hard, but when I really thought about it, Gears is probably number two.
Yeah.
It's such a good franchise. I would play it for hours and hours. The horde mode. It was the first. I think it was the first game to have a horde mode. Like that at least. So that was revolutionary at the time and super good. Um, my third is Skyrim.
The Elder
I
Scrolls.
just Elder
Yeah.
Scrolls. Yeah, I guess the Elder Scrolls franchise. Just because,
Yeah.
dude, I would get lost in that game. Like, I was really close to picking Starfield, but I've just had more time and stuff with the Elder
Mhm.
Scrolls universe. Yeah, I would just get absolutely lost in Elder Scrolls. And then the last one is it's a tie. They sit on a podium together, and it's between Fable and Tony Hawk, the Tony Hawk franchise.
Oh,
They are
yeah.
neck and neck for me.
And it's
Like I
crazy to think
love,
Xbox owns the Tony Hawk fucking franchise, man. Like,
yeah, I love a lot of the Tony Hawk games. Underground was probably my favorite. Underground 1. I did like 2, but 1 I liked more. Then you had like Project 8, that I believe it was called. I That one was sick. That's when he first did the slow motion. You can like flick your stick on the Xbox. Pause. um, and then
this isn't
yeah,
PlayStation.
and then American Wasteland. Yeah, yeah. American Wasteland. Yeah, so yeah, that franchise um was incredible. So those are my
Yeah.
top. It's very hard to kick one out because Fable, I'm very close with too. I mean, it was really cool to get to not only work on it, but just that the history of Fable. Um, like I just remember really diving into the world for number two. And it's really cool. Like, there's no other franchise I could think of that you start off as like a kid, and then throughout the game, it's like you get older and
Yeah.
you could become good or evil. Like the way they did it was so dope.
Yeah.
So definitely those. I can't kick one out. They're both on that podium.
Yeah,
Piggyback.
it's like hard to think of a Mount Rushmore now because you're including so many other franchises with Xbox's portfolio that I already loved as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna go Halo first. It's my most beloved franchise ever, right?
Yep.
Um, second is I gotta go Elder Scrolls.
Okay. So you got a second.
Yeah,
I was close to putting it second too. But
and
Gears, I just
like Oblivion really just like was a very special game for me, and then Skyrim if after that. And I know we don't get one like hardly ever, and I'm not the MMO guy, so I don't really dabble with Elder Scrolls Online or anything, but like generally like those Elder Scrolls games are fucking just incredible. They like set the bar for fantasy Western RPGs and what you would want, right? So yeah, that's number 2 for me. Then it gets really tricky, bro, because I have love for so many different franchises, but at number 3, I'm gonna go Fable.
Nice.
Yeah, and that
Yep.
if there was ever the biggest down moment for me in Xbox's history, is when they shut down Lionhead. Like
Yep.
that one for me in the entire history. I hate studio closures in general. Like especially good studios that make good games that are original and have a unique signature to that studio where it's like
Yep.
nobody else makes a game like they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were forcing them to make like Connect games and
Yeah.
all that
And
trash.
like there's so many developers that have that signature stamp. It's like this is the kind of game that they make. You know what I mean? And Lionhead was one of those studios. And it had one of my franchises that I absolutely fucking loved. And Fable was just super special. It was nothing else quite like it. Like with how fantasy it was, the comedy behind it, how much freedom they let you kind of have with the town and the world and the conversations and your character, like your character development and ownership of that character just really felt like your decisions and everything really had an impact, even based on like the kind of combat you did, you know? Storytelling, it's just everything about Fable I just fucking loved, you know? And it like when they shut down Lionhead, I was like, fuck, man, like what is going on? How do you
Still to
not
this day.
salvage Lionhead? You know, but now we see Playground's taking the mantle and they're doing great with Fable. I know some people aren't excited about it. I don't know what they're expecting to see like out of these trailers and stuff for Fable. Like I don't know what they want, but to me it looks like a crazy big nice evolution of Fable, and
Gonna be insane.
like I can't wait to see more, you know, but it looks absolutely nuts. And then the 4th one is fucking, man, like I could go Forza because I've been a major Forza player ever since the first one. I've loved all the Forza games. I could go.
You gotta pick one because
Oh, I could
you
like
chose
Call
this.
of Duty. I played like every fucking Call of Duty pretty much.
You're killing off every other
Diablo,
franchise.
fuck, man.
Oh,
It's
yeah, I
so
forgot about
no,
Diablo.
we're not. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not killing any. This is not.
Yeah,
We're
they're
not
all
playing
dead.
to kill a game right now. Like it's hard for me to like. I'm gonna be a little crazy right now, because I'm just speaking from my heart and what I want to see the most and what I love. Like I could say Gears would be an easy decision, right? Because I love Gears too. You throw Gears in there, the fucking Forza. You throw Call of Duty, all that stuff. But I'm gonna kind of cheat, and I'm gonna say Halo Wars, because I'm gonna consider that a separate franchise because there's been 2 of them, right?
Okay.
And out of what I
But with
want
the
the
Halo one, you
most,
could include that if you want.
would you allow me to include Halo Wars with
Yeah.
Halo for number 1?
Yeah.
But I want specifically Xbox to hear this and know that they need to make another fucking Halo Wars,
Okay.
right? So that's why I wanted to separate it. But if I'm allowed to include it and make sure it's clear, then
You
I
gotta
think
branch the first one.
I think for number 4, I would have to probably go Diablo.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, even over Gears now.
I jumped in Diablo
know.
really late. I mean, I jumped in with Diablo 3. And I love Diablo 3. I'm like, wow, I've been missing out on these types of games. Then I had a blast playing 4 with you guys, but I don't have that connection that I do with Diablo as opposed to like Gears or Fable.
Yeah.
but it is a solid game. Like every time I play, I'm like, dang, the story's amazing. I wish I knew more of the lore and stuff like that.
Yeah, the first
Where
playthrough when you first play through like a Diablo or something, and the cutscenes and all
special.
that is like wow, you know. And then after that, it's a time sink game that you just have fun, casual play with, like for hours on end, and it just continues, you know. And there's new content to look forward to. Like I just love what they do with that. Spartan 661 did not want to be outdone tonight, everybody. Spartan 661 said, "Hey, motherfuckers, guess what I got for you? I got another train to add to this car. It's a Spartan train." He said, "I love this Halo talk. I love that we're talking Halo. And this Spartan, you gotta let it all be known that there's another fucking car on this train. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. Let's go. Thank you, Spartan 661, for the 5 Fun Speculation memberships."
Choo choo, choo choo. Ha 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 ha.
661. Yeah, tell us.
You rock, Spartan. Everybody, you rock. All right, so yeah, man, I'm going to make this even more complicated because I think it's only fair because this is FSP. This is not Xbox Ultimate Podcast.
Yeah, it's different.
To expand this conversation a little bit. PlayStation.
Oh, favorite PlayStation.
Oh, 4 favorite PlayStation
Oh.
franchises. Now they only
This is-
really care about 3 now, it seems like. So
Yeah, Sony should listen to this.
so it's going to
section.
be complicated. Yeah, so this is like where we're now Fuzzy used to be Mr. PlayStation back in the day.
Mhm.
Okay?
Yeah.
3-bit's always been an Xbot since birth.
Yeah,
Mhm.
pretty much.
Um,
But I had my dabble.
I've owned every PlayStation and enjoyed every PlayStation except this last like 8 years or so that everybody else has loved has been my worst time as a PlayStation gamer, even though I try and have fun with what I have, right? And for me, Xbox has always kind of given me more of what I like, the kind of Halo and all that kind of stuff, right? But like this is a chance for us to ask for things that we love and to let them know what franchises we care about. And I guarantee you're not going to hear a bunch of us say fucking God of Wars and shit like that. Well, maybe 3-bit. He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 3-bit. But this is interesting. I am really curious what us known Xbox fans now, bias runs deep here. What are our favorite PlayStation franchises? Do you need time? Do you need time to think about this?
I
I,
have an idea.
Yeah.
I might have an idea.
How about you, 3-bit?
Yeah, I can probably go.
Okay.
So my number one is probably I really like SOCOM. So for me that's probably my number one. I played the heck out of SOCOM back in the day, and they refused to bring it back. It was just something special about the gameplay loop, how you really felt like you were in the military, and it was like the online portion was cool too. And they just look at it and they're just like, eh. So they don't want to bring that back. I also I was writing it down, Siphon Filter. Just a classic.
Yeah.
Now when I replayed it through, I tried the PlayStation's like it was like their subscription plan, so you could play like older games. It didn't age well, but I think that's one of those games they could definitely bring back and bring a cool little thing to, for sure. My third one is Jack and Daxter. I loved that franchise. Especially Jack 3 when they made it like I think it was Jack 3 that made it like open world and stuff like that. That was like my jam. And then the last one for me is God of War. Like the original God of War where he was more brutal.
So you mean the original trilogy, like the first 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, bringing that like
Jaffies.
I do like the new ones, but it's like there's something lost in the new ones. Like I can appreciate he's a new man now. Yeah, okay. But when he was like brutal and he was just angry, that was amazing, amazingness. So yeah, that's my list of things I've thought about. Like some people are putting in, I'm not stealing your list, Jasper. Some people are putting in like Twisted Metal.
It's been so long since
Some
there's been a
other ones.
decent Twisted Metal game. You know, like
But I was never
Infamous.
really into that. Infamous, I thought about. I was like, I didn't really jump into it that much. But I did think about as like secondary people who almost made it to the Sony podium would probably be like the Killzone franchise and then Resistance. More so Resistance. I think that was a little bit more unique for me. But yeah, that is my list. Uh,
okay,
I do love other franchise. I did really like Uncharted and Last of Us and stuff, but yeah, I want them to bring those back.
yeah, I hear you. I hear you. What about you, Fuzz? Now, you were like back in the day, you like didn't understand why people played Xbox, and you were just a PlayStation guy for the most part. You know,
Yeah.
so I know
There-
what your
there-
number one's gonna be. It's easy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the easiest one.
Mhm.
Probably number 2 is not too far behind, but number 1 is Gran Turismo. That they need to keep on still making that, and they still need to improve the AI. They still need to improve their car lists, and track lists, and things like that. And don't ever make another one of those sport ones where it was for online only at first, and then they had to add all that stuff later. But that's the number 1. Number 2 is one that they've let slip away, and I guess the even bigger drawback is it stopped that or since they closed that studio, they can't make another one that would make at least the top 10, but we're only going to do the top 4. Number 2 is Motorstorm.
Mm.
Even though I know what was it? There was another game that was kind of like a spiritual successor on Rush, I think. But Motorstorm to me at the time was like that great arcade racer where it was like Demolition Derby to get across the line first kind of thing. And that was like the coolest thing back then when they had that. Number 3, SOCOM, because they need their own shooter. I mean, it's great that Arrowhead has this co-op shooter that they have now. Um, it doesn't need PvP, but just bring back a SOCOM. And if it was up to me, I would say look at Insurgency Sandstorm and make it third person, and then you could do a co-op and a PvP setup with that, and I think that's your modern day SOCOM. Touch up the graphics, make it look like what Sony would normally try to achieve, and that would be like your perfect SOCOM at this point. And then the final one that's bumped out some of the great titles, like I would say Uncharted kind of deserves to be there, but the one for me that bumped it out and needs to stay as you a series that they continue to make sequels is Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is number 4. So Gran Turismo, Motorstorm, SOCOM, and then Ghost of Tsushima are my 4.
Yeah.
Honorable mentions would probably be Resistance, because that would be the next one on the list. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's almost like for me, Resistance would have been a perfect priority title. Have a small team over at Insomniac make like a PSVR 2 title, like almost in the vein of what is it, Half-Life Alyx type of thing, and the traditional Resistance Fall of Man. Have that as a PSVR title or a compatible title. Still make it for the standard PS5, but you want to sell PSVR 2 units, make it so it's compatible, and that would have been something that they should have worked on alongside of all the canceled games like the Factions gas game and then the Spider-Man gas game. Like
change out your portfolio a little bit,
yeah,
So I don't know. It's like looking at this list too. It just makes me sad because like barely half my list is relevant today because they refuse to go back into their IPs, but well, maybe one day.
It's crazy that everybody thinks that their franchises are so great and so big, but like really, it's like hard to think of the ones that have as big of an impact as some of the Xbox ones, right? Like, for me, a PlayStation, Uncharted was my favorite franchise. Like I just love each one of the games. I love the story. I love the characters. Gameplay is fun, right? It's not too serious. It's kind of funny, and it's just a fun adventure game to play. So for those, I always looked forward to the next one. But it took a while for me to realize how good those were.
Putting that on there.
Like I think it was Uncharted 2. Like after it had been out for a while, I was like, "Oh, this is great!" Like, and then I went back and played the first one, and then I played 3, and then I played 4. Right? Ended up loving all of them. After that, it's Gran Turismo, bro. Take back to that was the first PlayStation like Studios game that wasn't like a sports game back then, because I used to play all the 989 sports games like back in the day, like Game Day and NBA Shootout and shit like that, right? And I fucking love those too. But that Gran Turismo was the first non like sports game that was published by Sony as a franchise that became an ongoing thing that I fell in love with, right? And I still love Gran Turismo to this day. It's quirky. It's got its unique things about the way the cars handle and all that kind of stuff. But like, there's some kind of special like just character about it that's different and unique. And I love the way they embrace the car culture with everything outside the actual racing.
Oh yeah. Need for Speed started to do that, but
Need for Speed started to try and go all these different genres and stuff, and they started releasing a game every year, and it's like, okay, they're doing Need for Speed Pro Street, they're doing Need for Speed Underground, and they Need for Speed, like Shift or some shit like that. Who fucking knows? Like there was like 20 different Need for Speed things they were doing, and they kind of lost what they were, trying to do too much story stuff with one game, then trying to go to simulation, then trying to go to arcadey. Instead of what everybody just wanted was more Hot Pursuits and more Undergrounds, right? And more Most Wanteds, right? If they just stuck to the cadence of those 3 franchises and kept going from there, fuck, they would have done amazing. But the last Need for Speed is pretty good. But anyway, back to PlayStation. So for those 2. Then after that, I really have a fucking hard time. Because it's been so damn long. I loved Twisted Metal back in the day. But you're talking about it. That's so fucking long ago now. So like, I know they had the newer one, but that kind of sucked, So
was it black? Was Tomato black?
The last one was kind of weird. It was like more story based and stuff, and like I don't know. I would go back to SOCOM because I loved like the military-esque, like it felt more serious and tactical. I love games like that, so I guess I would go SOCOM. Oh wait, hold on, never mind. I know Infamous.
Okay, Infamous.
I love Infamous, dude. I love Ghost of Tsushima too, but the only thing that I have a problem with Ghost of Tsushima is the fact that probably means they're not going to make any more Infamous because they have a hit with Ghost of Tsushima, right? So, and what they're doing Spider-Man's too, they're not going to do Infamous, which is kind of like more of a generic superhero game. Then so they got Spider-Man, so they have Insomniac doing that. They're probably not going to go have Infamous anymore, right? But I prefer Infamous honestly to Spider-Man. If I'm being real, I like Spider-Man 2018. But Miles Morales just felt more like the same to me. And I haven't even been excited to play 2 at all.
Yeah. For me, it's like Spider-Man 1 was great. I loved Spider-Man 1. I love the story with like his growth in that one with Doc Ock and Aunt May and stuff like that. Miles Morales, what to me was just a better game. In terms of like the combat and the systems and stuff, and it wasn't as good as a story as the first one, but it was still like really cool. And then 2 was like, I did not like 2. Maybe it was just me. It was like a buggy game and different things. As a side thing, we
Yeah.
could honestly have this list for different things like EA.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things within EA and
Yeah, you could do every publisher. Yeah.
But Sony, they have so many IP. I kind of want them to just look at this video and
Right.
think about which studios could probably tackle it.
So to concrete my 4, I'll go.
Yeah. What do you want?
I'll go Uncharted, Gran Turismo, Infamous, and then for 4, I'll go Ghost.
Okay.
I'll
you
just
guys
throw
are
it
both
like
adding
yeah.
up.
I'll go Ghost there. It is a very great franchise.
I feel like
There's only
you're
been
both
one game,
cheating.
so it's not
You're both
really a franchise yet. Like Fuzzy chose Starfield for Xbox.
Oh.
Like that's why I didn't really put it in there yet, even though it's like one of my favorite games of all time. Maybe
Yeah.
like up
You guys are
there.
both cheating.
Like but like it's still Elder Scrolls has more history. So yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, I guess I'll put it there. I saw Nate Dogg saying that you have a hard time. They've released nonstop great games from 2016 to 2020. Yeah, they had a great run, but a lot of those games weren't for me. Like I didn't like Last of Us. I don't like God of War, and I don't like Horizon. So
And they keep remaking and remastering.
and so like if you're not a God of War, Last of Us, and Horizon fan, as a PlayStation guy, you're kind of fucked. Yeah, they had some other great games too. They had Bloodborne. They had, they did have Ghost of Tsushima, which I love. They had Uncharted 4 at that time, but like overall, like those 3 games, they really was the kind of big emphasis for them. And not that I'm not saying those aren't great games and great franchises. Like I think they are. It's just my personal enjoyment with those. I just never could get into them. I wanted to. I tried each one like multiple times, but I just can't get into it. So, Spider-Man 2018 I liked, but then I got burnt out on it. After that one, I didn't want to play more.
100%ed Spider-Man 1, almost 100%ed Miles Morales. So it's coming from a lot of hours. I just was not. Jasper said he wanted to go on a rant on Spider-Man. I wonder what he's thinking. But
Jasper thinks Spider-Man is just an average game. Like he's just
just in general.
Yeah. Yeah, he hates the Mary Jane love like missions and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah, that's very understandable. It's stupid it's in there, to be honest with you. Like
Sneak around and don't make a sound.
That's the
Don't
stuff
get
in
seen.
Spider-Man 2. Like Spider-Man 2's story I just thought was bad. Like number 1, I thought it was like a great introduction to Spider-Man as a character and stuff like that. And Miles Morales, same thing. It was really cool to see Miles' story. And then 2 just felt like rushed. Like the story felt rushed. I ran into bugs constantly. It was just like, and then the media
They were
was
doing it
kind
on
of
purpose.
coming out, like months later. Yeah, you're doing it on purpose. Like that was ridiculous. So many people said I was doing these bugs on purpose. But months later, people started to be like, "Oh yeah, Spider-Man 2 wasn't all that." Like they started to kind of admit that it was kind of
because people are
not
so
a
caught
great
up with the
game.
hype and excitement over it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. But that was not Insomniac's best move. But
Yeah.
Insomniac's still talented team. We'll see what they're cooking up. It is sad that team is stuck to Marvel games. So like, I would love for them to experiment with more Resistance, or even going back and trying Sunset Overdrive 2. Like
different franchises, different games. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I'm super excited to see what an X-Men game's gonna be, but like now that I've seen the leaks like from Wolverine and stuff, like I don't know, maybe I gotta play it, but the future,
Have
that
Storm
future,
climbing the side of a building.
Yeah.
that future for that franchise, like ongoing thing right now with Insomniac, isn't as exciting to me as it was when we first got it with the leaks. But we'll have to wait and see how it pans out. But
Yeah, because I was hyped too.
Yeah.
Because what you can do with an X-Men game, man.
Yeah,
There's a
it's
lot.
a dream. It's a dream game.
It is
from
literally my dream game.
Yeah, I've wanted X-Men is like before I became an MCU fan, like my history with Marvel love goes back to the X-Men cartoons, right? When I was a kid, like the original series. And that's what made me fall in love with Marvel and X-Men, and then Spider-Man after that, and then all that stuff. But like I wasn't a Iron Man fan or fucking like Guardians of the Galaxy, you know what I mean? I knew who Iron Man was, and I saw some of the stuff and some of the other spin-off things and stuff like that, but like for me it was like fucking X-Men. X-Men was it for Marvel for me. And the characters, I loved it. So for
It'd be
me,
hard to.
it's like seeing that like come to life in a big budget AAA type game way, like is what I've always wanted. But I don't know if it's just gonna be like Spider-Man.
Yeah,
You know?
I really want them to dive in with X-Men and it they have to really consider the IP, and I'm worried just based on the leaks from like Wolverine and stuff. It seems like they are just taking their formula and just making it work for Wolverine rather than it being revolved around the character. But it's still very early on. Maybe when the game comes out, it'll feel like very close.
Yeah.
But when you're doing an X-Men game, you have to consider a lot of things. People are going to want to play as different X-Men characters. They're going to want to make it feel like a team dynamic. That's what makes X-Men different. They're like a family. They are a team. So make it feel
they
that
got
way.
problems with each other. I mean, there's like a lot of like things like going on in that world, right?
Yeah.
For me, I'd rather see different spin-off games from different developers, so give it different flavors. Like
Well, we had the top-down X-Men Legends and stuff, and that was dope. But
I wanted to see one of my dream creations for like matching a developer and a character was Gambit. Obviously, I'm always a big Gambit fan, and Sucker Punch. And that's because I was playing those Infamous games and stuff, and then going into playing Ghost of Tsushima too. Like just knowing what they can do with that and storytelling, plus also action and combat and the way with movement, and it'd be amazing, dude.
You'll get Gambit in the second DLC pack.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Probably, and it'll be the same move set as somebody else, just a different skin.
Yeah. Probably he'll be the unlockable character later on.
It'll be X-Men Part 2, the second season.
Yeah, the second season. Because we were going through. I remember we were going through like which characters will likely be in there. And I hope they don't. It would be cool.
You'll get Wolverine. You'll get Jean Grey because she's I think leaked from the Wolverine game. Beyond that, you got to have the mainstays. You got to have like Cyclops in there.
Cyclops,
Storm.
Storm's probably in there.
They'll just probably leave it at that. They'll probably put obviously Professor X will be in there for the story at least,
and then maybe face
won't
Magneto.
be a playable character.
Yeah. You probably face Magneto, of course. Who else? Maybe Beast. You think Beast will be in there?
Hope so.
He'll be at the hub world or at the mansion where you get your resources or some of your preset equipment or something like that from Beast. You have to go back to the house to talk to him. He never goes out in the field anymore.
Maybe Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler would be cool. Jubilee, you think? No, they wouldn't do Jubilee, right? Probably not.
Maybe. Only if they have Gambit.
Probably. But they
if they have Jubilee, then they'll have Gambit. Then Mav will get his Gambit.
It'll be Rogue and Gambit.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Jubilee is going to be the kid that's there.
They could talk to
the younger one. Yeah, exactly.
She has cool powers. Like I feel like she could do something.
Yeah, like sparkly fireworks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll probably. I think they'll include Jubilee for some reasons and stuff. But like,
She'll have like a Mary Jane mission.
yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
you're the distraction.
Yeah, she's going in the mansion. Well, maybe people are invading the X mansion, and she's just like crawling and tasering
Setting
people.
off sparklers.
Yeah,
yeah. That'd
it's like-
be Gambit. They gotta have Gambit and Rogue. If they don't, I'm gonna be pissed, and I won't fucking play the game.
no, you're gonna play it.
At
I know
least,
you.
at least
You
Gambit.
hate playing it.
Yeah,
God,
yeah,
you
yeah,
can find
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, Colossus
Doing
maybe. Lose hope. Yeah, that'd be nice. Enemies wise, you could have Juggernaut. You get Magneto, obviously.
You got to
know?
think about like they're gonna want if you're only gonna be able to play a certain amount of characters, then they're probably gonna make them try to feel as different as possible. So we know Wolverine's probably in there. We know
Jasper says it's Insomniac. You'll have like 6 wheelchair missions as Professor X. That's right.
Go through the obstacle course.
could have some, but yeah, I hope you can actually play as the X-Men and they don't do the thing where you play as your own X-Men character. I mean, that could be cool, make your own X-Men, but I want to be like Cyclops.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Do I dare ask about Nintendo franchises?
I don't know if it's worth it.
It's Mario, Zelda,
They're still doing a lot.
Mario
of
Kart, Mario Party, Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, Mario Baseball.
There was I gotta
Yeah,
look
for
it
me,
up.
it's just Super Mario Brothers and F-Zero. Maybe Star Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have the same taste, bro. Like for me, it's like F-Zero. It's Mario, like the traditional, right? Then probably I would say Star Fox next, and then F-Zero, and then last would be Tricky. But I will go with. Oh fuck, man. Honestly, I've been kind of
Zelda.
it's yeah. I mean, I'll probably go with Metroid because of my history with Metroid, not because of Metroid Dread, which I tried and don't really like as much as the old school Metroids.
It's dreadful.
I don't really like Metroid Dread. So Metroid Dread, no, and I'm not really super excited for what I've seen from Metroid Prime. I like the old school Super Metroid games, and I know Metroid Dread tried to kind of do that, but they didn't capture it for me whatsoever. So
I would say literally half my list could just be different Mario franchises because it could go like, oh, I like the Mario Party franchise. Oh, I like the Mario Tennis franchise, so it's kind of hard. I could just say Mario and cover my bases, but I guess like there's so many different Mario games, man. I'll say Super Mario Sunshine. I really liked Sunshine, and I would like to see more of that. So Sunshine. Jet Force Gemini. I don't know. I played that on the N64, but I think Rare owns that, right? But I remember playing that on the N64. It might be Rare, but I would love to get a sequel to that game, Jet Force Gemini. I'm just gonna put that in there.
okay.
It's weird. I have a weird history with Zelda. Like I played the original Zelda, very first one, and then the next Zelda I played after that was I played it completely out of order. It was I think I played Wind Waker a little bit, and then the newest one. So I kind of skipped a lot of Zelda, so it's not as close for me. But man, I'm gonna put Donkey Kong, the drum one. I really like that game.
Really?
Yeah, the Donkey Kong Jungle Beats or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
I got one more.
I don't know.
think.
Do you? Yeah, I think
I
so.
think I got one more. Um, hmm. Yeah, I don't know for my last one. It's just like they keep recycling the same sort of franchises, so it's hard for me to. I never was like a huge Metroid guy. Um, I'll say I'm gonna steal Calories' answer and say Smash Bros.
Okay, fair enough.
That I like was obsessed with Smash Bros. Played competitively and stuff. So
I used to love like Wave Racer and fucking like Pilot Wings and shit like that back in the day. You know, they had so many cool cool games. Blast Corps, remember that? Fucking on the 64. You'd like had construction trucks and shit, and you just had to remember everything you did in that game. But I played the shit out of that, bro. Rare made amazing games back in the day for the fucking.
yeah, I just looked it up. They made the Jet Force Gemini.
Yeah.
I don't know if people remember that game, but
Yeah, they made Blast Corps too, I think. And they made GoldenEye, they made fucking Perfect Dark. I mean, dude, like it's just crazy to think about the games that Rare made back in the day, like even just in that short of an era. Like they had a lot of great games, dude. Now they're just Sea of Thieves and
forgot
maybe
about Blast
eventually figure out an Everwild game. Yeah, Wave Race, yeah, I fucking loved Wave Race, dude. So anyway, I like to see Nintendo.
You got one more.
More
You can't
stuff
skip
like
out. I think you got one more.
me.
Yeah.
Oh, was I naming my franchises? I thought I
Were
already
you?
did that. No, I was just running on the list. Yeah, I did
It
Mario.
was like Mario, Star Fox,
Oh, okay.
F-Zero, and then what was the last one?
I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking about it. I don't know. Like
I think Metroid. That's what it
Metroid,
was.
yes, but the classic Metroids. Yeah. There we go. All right.
Yeah.
What about you? What about you, Fuzzy?
Yeah, it's just going to be F-Zero, right? Star Fox, Super Mario. More so, they're platformers.
Yeah.
And I don't think I even have a fourth. Because I was a Sega kid.
Yeah. I like went back and forth. So I was Sega first, had Sega Master System, right? I didn't have an NES. But then I went from Sega Master System to SNES, right? And then Nintendo 64, right? And then after that, I went back to Dreamcast. I didn't have a Genesis or a Sega CD or Saturn or anything like that.
Yeah.
But my friends did, you know, like, so I played the shit out of it still. But it was like, back then it was like a one console thing for the family. It was, and we had to make a decision. So SNES, I remember got it, I think for my 9th birthday.
Yeah, I was like 4 or 5 when I played on my very first game, which was on the Sega Genesis 3.
Yeah.
And it was Barney's Hide and Seek. And then that was on the Sega Genesis 3. And then my real game was probably Streets of Rage.
Right on. Y'all seen this stuff going on with Alana Pierce and situational disabilities going on? And like she was trying to explain something and like everybody's freaking out, but at the same time, like it's also made us like kind of aware how like ridiculous game development and a lot of this stuff is with the things that they think about, you know. I understand.
Yeah, I get the idea. It's just wrong word choice, probably.
Yeah.
I just don't say disability if it's not an actual
Right.
disability. Just say like, you know,
Yeah, this is a Microsoft thing too.
Yeah.
So it's a Microsoft inclusive design toolkit because they consider disabilities, right? So they have different categories. They'll say permanent disability, temporary, or situational. For example, a permanent disability is having one arm. A temporary is having an arm injury. A situational is being a new parent. So like, but just like putting like life just situations as a even just using the word disability within it is just kind of like for me it just is like cringy. I was reading some of this stuff about like, oh, you're in a loud restaurant and you can't hear, you have a situational hearing disability. No, you're just in a fucking loud restaurant. Like and they're talking about how, oh, they use these kind of things to make things more accessible for everybody, including disabilities and stuff, which yes, it's great for disabilities. Yes. The rest of the stuff, you know what we called that? Is quality of life features. Right?
Yeah, like pausing a game.
Yeah, pausing a game, save, having vibrate on your phone is one example they were talking about as overcoming situational disabilities because you're in a loud place. Like, using the word disability, but the reason I bring this up is because like I don't know why people are giving her necessarily such a hard time about it because she was just talking about it. But however, like it kind of brings awareness to like how much thought goes into designing these games and stuff with these kind of things in place, which is like, that's something that I think is a little overthought sometimes. Now, for actual disabilities and making things more accessible for gamers with these different controllers that they have and all these other kind of things, yes. But like, if you got a fucking kid, you just got a fucking kid. You know, there's just like, you're a parent.
Yeah, I think someone said like, "What if I have a kid?" It's just like, well, you just have a kid. It's like, okay.
Like, I don't want them to design a game because and make it different because there's people that have children. Like, yeah, I understand. Some of us have kids, right? But like, maybe the person that I am wants to play the badass game when my kid's not around, not play a game that you change because I might have one. You know what I mean? Like, don't make stuff less like cool or whatever, and take all these different things into mind to make stuff so for everybody, right? That it becomes really not for anybody.
That's in their inclusive design document because it's like tready waters, right? Because this is like a topic that like a lot of people want to be included in modern day game design. And if they feel like they're not included, then they usually throw a rage. But it is cool that new games are starting to implement features like in Last of Us 2. If you're literally blind, they have features that make it easier to access the environment and stuff like that. But I think where it goes kind of just kind of, in my opinion, is a little crazy to be like, if you are a new parent, how do we make Forza a better experience?
I don't want them to even fucking consider that
That's
one.
what I'm talking
You know what I mean?
about.
I want them to consider the other things, like people that have actual disabilities. But you're going as far to the situation that people have kids, or like
that's the situation.
or they could be playing somewhere in a loud restaurant, or like something like. Come on now, like where are we going with some of that kind of stuff?
If it's secondary,
see, with the loud restaurant thing, just wear a headset, like earbuds or something. Like, I get what they're trying to do, but unless we're going to have a pause option for live games, which we're not, and I'm not asking them to. It's just called hide further away from the enemy. While if you're in a squad, just have them kind of protect you while you either go to the bathroom
Right.
or place your order at the restaurant if you're doing that or something. But like they should just do the first two columns and that's it. And then the other ones would be considered situational distractions or situational inconveniences or whatever. But it's like, do you account for a distracted driver? Like, that's actually a bad, very bad example because you shouldn't even be on your cell phone unless it's hands free
Right.
while
Like,
driving.
they have an example,
So,
just so people know, they have an example if you're a bartender, you know, like, okay, it just goes into depth. It's not just we're not just talking about like if someone is blind or something like that. Like it's cool that they're adding features for someone who's blind. They're able to navigate a game
Yeah.
environment more, or they make sure that the audio is really good, like in Forza, for example. Or if you have one arm, they added like the adaptability controller, so that way it's easier for you to access. We're not really talking about that. We're talking about the situation where it's talking about, oh, how do we make the game better if you're a bartender? Well, how do I make the game better if there's kids or that type of stuff is just a waste in game development. Like, I'm just speaking from me being in the game development field and seeing a lot of research going to stuff that I'm like, I don't think people are okay, sure. I just step back because that's when other people kind of step into the development
Yeah.
field who are the statistics sort of people who just come in and make decisions on the game if coming from a place of just like numbers and things like that. But hey, if my whole thing is like if it's not really affecting the game experience and if it's like secondary in a way, like
Yeah.
you're not really worrying about how a bartender feels as you're playing like Hellblade, then cool, sure.
That's what I'm
fine.
getting at. Like, I want all the accessibility features to be there for people to and like additive to the game, right? And to these things, like I want them to go that route, and make things more accessible for as many people as possible that actually have limiting disabilities that makes them not be able to enjoy this games or whatever. But when you go to the situational aspect where they're going with it is where I'm like, you're trying to account for everybody's everyday life and every fucking individual out there that has just randomly, you're stuck in traffic, you're like on this list of like you can't hear well because you're a bartender, right? Like, or I see the distracted driver is a thing. Like, one of these is like you have a
You
heavy
shouldn't
fucking
be playing a game if you're supposed to be bartending. You shouldn't be playing a game if you're driving.
Yeah, one of these is say like you got a heavy accent, right? So like
Yeah.
I'm just talking about like how do you take those ideas of situations that like everybody is in a constant state of some kind of situation, right?
Mhm.
Like I'm doing a podcast right now. Do we have to like, we have to make games more accessible for Mav while he's podcasting? No, I don't want that. I'm distracted right now. But like, am I in a situational disability right now because I'm hosting a podcast? Well, according to this kind of idea, I technically am. So I should be able to, according to this, be able to play a game in fullest enjoyment right now while I'm still doing this other activity because this is a situational disability. That's according to what their ideas and concepts are when they're designing this kind of shit. And that to me is just like going a little bit like over beyond with the thought process of how to cater to accessibility in general, and can be interesting when you're thinking about designing games or designing things.
And
Where does
maybe
that line actually draw to where we're not concerned about, okay, the person that has a kid run across the living room?
to me, maybe it does trickle. Yeah, go ahead, Fuzzy. Sorry.
I was going to say this kind of reminds me of what I used to have to go through with product design for vehicle stuff. And my joke was always, do you see this end is sharp on a knife? Like some stuff, you don't have to go that far because when you go that far, like making those accommodations, then you assume some of the responsibility for people's either bad moves or bad mistakes or bad judgments, however you want to call it. So like the distracted driver one calls out to me the most. Like if you're making a mount for like inside the car for the dash, like for somebody that might have memory loss or something like that, then again, should they be driving? But let's say you have like a reminder thing where, the nav system will work or hold their phone or whatever the case may be. But do you make it where this person, by adding that accessory, they can now stream videos while driving? No, you don't want to do that. You want to make that where if the automotive manufacturer of the vehicle doesn't allow for it, then you're not going to allow for it. You don't want to go over that step, because then if they crash because they were looking at a movie while driving, guess who's going to be named on the court documents when they go to sue people? You'll be. So it's like, and not that anybody's going to be suing people over how they make the games, but the first two columns, I can understand from a game dev standpoint. The situational should be more so on the manufacturer of the console. Like if you have the
Right.
accommodation for, like, let's say parent mode, you either make things more quiet. Like let's say there's a parent button kind of thing, and the kid's trying to sleep. You can hit a button and it lowers the volume, almost like how they have the turn down for the beep. Although I know Everborn will say, they need to do something about the controller because it's too clickety, clickety, clickety. And his spouse is like, quiet with that controller kind of thing. But yeah, if you're a parent, maybe Xbox or PlayStation themselves can do things on the console side that are more so for those situational things. Like, oh, the kid's running across the screen. You have it where it's instant pause, and then maybe your character goes into a ghost mode, almost like the enemies can't touch you for that minute while you stand still, and the controller, was either disconnected or something to that effect type of deal. That shouldn't be on the game devs end. That should be on, maybe Xbox or
Yeah.
PlayStation's end. But even like you said, I think that's a bridge too far. But
Yeah. And
there would be some of those convenient factors that people would be like, oh, that is a cool feature that I can ghost my character, in this live service
but
game.
let's say they take this concept and make the game in a way to where it's so easy to play now that it takes the enjoyment away because they're concerned that somebody has a kid. So now you have to think about these PlayStation games that we're talking about, how it's like fucking just like they play themselves and it's like pretty much movies, right? Right? Like these concepts that they think about when they're designing those things, like let's just make it to where really you can just set the controller down for 70% of the time. That's gonna handle a lot of those.
It happened with God of War, right? Like during God of War, and I'm sure they just had a lot of play testing and stuff with that game, and then decided like, hey, a lot of people are struggling in this specific environment, so let's give the person cues so that way, like they even they solved the puzzles for me in God of War, that Ragnarok. That was really annoying, but yeah, I think it could be what they're probably thinking of is all the details in those aspects as like a trickle down effect, where like they think about it super detailed, so that way like in those different situations it could work pretty well. But like it is on my whole thought process. First off, having a kid is not a disability,
right?
Not a situational.
Anybody that has a kid is like not be like, man, like this kid's really disabling my ability to play these games. Like it's just like your kid's more important than the fucking games. If you're in a situation like I have pictures of my daughter laying on my chest while I'm playing games. I made it fucking work. I wasn't asking the game developers for help. If only they could design more features in these games to help me in my current situation because I have an infant on me. That would really cater to my needs. Thank you so much for the considerations in your game development time when designing this product to take care of me right now. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. No, I don't fucking care. I just fucking handle it. I'm a human being, right?
Yeah.
This is not a disability. Like for people that have disabilities, I think it's a slap in the face to even like put that in the same kind of wordage and verbiage. Yeah. And I think that's something they should like change that in their design documents and toolkits. It's like even using the word disability in for everyday life situations that everybody goes through is like almost for me disrespectful to people that actually have real shit. You know?
Yeah, and that's
Like
why we are separating the conversation. Like, hey, if someone doesn't have an arm and things like that,
cater
like
to
those are
them,
cool.
not to me
Cater to
that just
them.
decided to have a
Yeah,
kid. You know,
yeah.
like make
Kid being a
the
disability.
situations for somebody that physically can't do something. Think about all that. Don't worry about my fucking kid that happens to run across my living room. Like, really? Were we
Now, I
thinking
will say
about these
one.
things when designing games? Are they actually considering these things? Like, but you've seen stuff. Is this
Yeah, that's what I was
conversation
saying. Is
like?
it's possibly a trickle down effect, like they're thinking about it super detailed, of like you at a bar and different stuff, and it could affect the game's like let's say for Last of Us, for example, how you can ping and look at environments and stuff, and it's good for people who are blind and things like that. So that's probably why they're thinking about it like that. But my whole problem with it was just kids are not a disability. The fact that
Yeah,
you're thinking about like doing it while you're driving and stuff. I'm like, okay, in these situations, that's not a disability. You shouldn't be playing the game probably in
Right.
those situations. But that was just how I how I looked at it. Um, and I see some people running with it like, yeah, like I do want to play games while I bartend and stuff. Okay,
No, but
I can't with that. But yeah, go
the
ahead. Sorry.
thing I was going to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was saying you go ahead.
Oh, the thing I was going to say is that one possible cool feature that came out of this was that co-pilot thing. I think both Xbox and PlayStation have it where if you do have a kid and they really want to play the game, but they're not going to do anything. So it's like you kind of give them the controller and you're like, all right, push up on the control. And it's like going the opposite way. Then you can kind of take your controller and kind of help them out. That was a cool feature, but that's not that the kid has a disability, but they should put that under like situational, but not, don't call it situational disability. Just call it situational um, occurrences or so, whatever. Just call it something different,
it's
and
called
then
fucking
make
life.
those
It's
Situational
It's
yeah
called life.
circumstance.
life
Like where
situations.
everybody is almost in it, unless you are alone and have nothing else going on in your life, and you are there and you have the game in front of you and a headset on, and you're able to have that situation. Cool, but I guarantee you, a lot of us almost all the time aren't like that, and you can't cater to every situation, right? You just can't do it. You just can't. You can't do it. Like, so even thinking about all of those things into your design decisions, like if it actually affects the way the game is, like, and affects the developer's choices about, well, this would be really cool to add, you know what I mean? But Mav had a kid last year, you know, so it might make it to where 10% less people are able to enjoy this game to its fullest extent. So let's get rid of that feature because it might be too complicated for him to do.
Yeah, it is
That's
interesting.
where it gets a little too far. Now,
It's
Yeah.
interesting.
you
Yeah, go ahead.
take that difference, saying let's put this in the game. Now let's have an option somewhere for somebody that doesn't have an arm to be able to do this with one hand, right? And actually have an option in there. Cool. Always think about those kind of things, or like the what Forza does for blind people with the audio and stuff like that. Like all these kind of things, like those are amazing. But like you just can't, this whole like temporary or not temporary, but like this
Situational.
situational disability category here is just kind of like, now maybe there's some that make some sense, right? To not be completely insensitive to this, because there's probably some things that make some sense, but like the examples that you see that I'm seeing through this thread and stuff about people are in a loud room and people have this or people have that, and you're going to change games and design them around everybody's people when they want to experience something, they don't want to experience like a toned down version of it for the sake of making it like what if you went to the theater, right? To see a movie. And this is like a big epic fucking superhero thing, you know? But like they start making the movies quieter and not have loud bass and stuff because they're concerned that there's a percentage of people out there that are sensitive to loud noises.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like,
I mean,
let's just
yeah.
completely
It's
shut,
tricky.
make the theaters all not have loud noises, no more bass, no more awesome Atmos or any of that kind of stuff. So let's just like nerf everything because there's a percentage of people that, you know, it might bother them a little bit, you know, to have that. Maybe maybe they're at a bar all day, you know,
Yeah. I mean,
like
yeah,
maybe
it gets tricky
maybe they have
because
an ear infection. You know, well, let's make sure we cater the movies to people that have ear infections.
oh, Fuzz.
You're Fuzzy, you're having a situational disability right now. What's going on? You're on mute.
It's like,
You're mute.
wait, am I on mute?
No, oh no, you're back.
No,
You're
you're
back.
good now. You're good now.
Okay. Yeah, it's like if you have an ear infection, why are you going to the movies? Unless you already bought the tickets
No,
or
that
something.
was in these design documents for the for situational disabilities is having an ear infection. Things that got to
That was
consider.
actually in the
Yeah.
document.
I mean, when if I didn't see that little schematic thing, I would be like, oh, situational disability would be like, oh, I'm having a stroke or I'm having a seizure while playing the game. That I think would be situational.
In
You
that
know how
case,
they have the warning for
play a
the
game.
the flashing lights and stuff, but
Yeah.
it's no way.
Yeah. It's just like what if with the overall encompassing aspect to it, right? Like you're not. That's where it's like interesting where these decisions go and how they're made for the experiences that we get. I'm all for options. Give as many options as possible, right?
It's cool to have those options in there with Forza and all this different stuff. Like having it so people with disabilities, like the controller, making it easier for people to experience a game. I yeah, it's probably just a trickle down thing that they're looking at is the people who study into this like very deeply and they are probably looking at it more so from what I just call the trickle down, which means like you think about things really deeply and then you make features according to that and then hopefully it affects everyone positively. And I feel like that's probably what they're doing here. Um they're just wording it very badly.
Yeah.
and and my whole thing is like when you like those options are great, but when you start getting into the game itself and then you start changing game mechanics to be more simple and for everybody, then it ends up just being for nobody. And that's when you get like, in my opinion, like what was happening with God of War Ragnarok, where they're like, oh, a lot of people are not going to be able to solve these puzzles, so let's make Atreus, as soon as you get to the platform, tell you how to solve the puzzle. What does that do to the actual game experience? Like, it changes it. It completely changes it because you don't get to figure out the puzzle because they want it to make it so people who don't want to solve the puzzle get the priority in that aspect. So you're going up to these puzzles and it's already solved for you because that is the easier, more accessible thing. So that's the thing they have to watch out for when they're looking at this stuff in terms of the actual gameplay mechanics. Is like how is this affecting the overall experience as opposed to an option?
Yeah.
When you haven't if it's just an option, cool. That can be catered to your specific experience. But when you do something as an overall general thing, where like let's say you have to completely change a character or a story moment or just to make it easier for people and it affects everything, then that's where I have a problem with it. But If this is an option, cool. Make it a better experience for the people who are holding babies, and sure, why not?
Right.
But yeah, to call that's what I had a problem with. But if you also are calling those things a disability, and if you are putting way too much resources into figuring out how to make a game playable in a bar or while you're driving, then your priorities are wrong.
Different.
They're way
Yeah,
off.
it's like
Yeah.
it's interesting that they even had like uh I
Yep.
I think like they're using this terminology to say, well, this is why these cool features and technology are advanced, and that's why we have all these awesome little things like flashlights on phones and you know like save and cross progression and that's
Yeah.
that's cool, right? But beforehand, we just called those quality of life features and common sense improvements that everybody would like, right? It wasn't because of like you're labeling somebody as having a situational disability for just having a kid or like being in a loud place or
Like, I
you
want to
know
be able to
being
play the game
sick,
while I'm drunk.
you know, like it just is random stuff. You could make up a million of them easily. Like you could just keep going. Keep going. Somebody cut me off today in traffic. I'm in a fucking bad mood and I'm not going to enjoy the game. You need to figure out how to flip my mood around. You know?
Mood
Like,
enhancers in the game.
I'm pissed off today. Yeah, we need mood enhancements.
I want to
Anyway.
play Fortnite while like doing yoga and I'm upside down. How
Right.
do I make a flip feature in the options so that way I can play Forza while I'm like just laying down upside down on the bed?
I was laid
Maybe that-
off. I can't afford a console or buy the game. Will you give it to me? That's a situational disability. Let's get that
Send me
feature.
money.
Let's have a free shit. Let's go.
Yep.
Anyways.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I just found that an interesting conversation. Obviously that came up from Alana Pierce's tweet, and then it's like an ongoing thing between her and oh no, it's Alex. And she had said, or first off, the reason this whole thing came up is Alex said, I just watched a game developer say that playing a game while having a kid could be considered a disability. And then Alana Pierce responded, says, having a kid can be a situational disability where accessibility is concerned. If you need to pause a game because your kid is running around your living room, but you can't, you'll have trouble playing games with no pause menu. Here's a bunch of info about it for anyone who's genuinely interested. And so she clicked on that article. That's where it got a lot of the information from. And then Alex, yeah, this was just kind of went back and forth, you know. But yeah, it was kind of like created an interesting thought and conversation about like the thought process that goes into these developers and companies when they're designing the games that we play. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, don't
I do
think
want to give like some
about
props to
certain things.
Alana because like when all the studio shutdowns and stuff happened, like she definitely spoke out on it and went on stage, talked about certain things. But yeah, that was not a not a
Yeah, I have no problem with her, and I think she was just trying to explain it. I don't really think she's like sitting there trying to
Yeah,
defend
she was-
it or whatever. So I'm not. That's why I'm saying I don't know why people are necessarily going after her. This is not like
yeah, it's
She-
just what's in
but-
the documents.
right.
But
It is more of an explanation. However, I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah, me too.
I'm
was
all for
really-
inclusiveness. I'm super all for that. But like,
Mhm.
I don't want them to design games around the idea that people could have a kid. You know, and the like as a distraction.
Oh, it's happening right now. So
it's yeah.
I'm
Too late.
just thinking maybe they should have like for those that have IBS or something like how you can either take a screen with you into the throne room or something or just put it on pause while you do your business or whatever. But
yeah, imagine a Call of Duty game where you can pause it like, hold on, I'm going to the bathroom. Everyone's like, oh,
Yeah.
can pause the game for
I said,
everybody.
yeah, put it where everybody's in ghost mode, so the bullets pass through them, kind of thing.
Yep. Actually, I would kind of like that. I take it back. I take it this whole conversation back. That would be kind of cool. I'd be making sandwiches.
Yeah.
I'd be doing a lot of stuff while I'm playing. So actually, I take everything I said before. I take it back.
Okay.
So sorry.
Fair enough.
I want it now.
Yeah. Okay. You guys want to do some tidbits?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
There's
I
not
did
that many.
put it up
There's not that many
at all.
games this time. But hey, everybody, there's one more segment on this episode of FSP.
Oh,
Now the cat wants to. He wants to
And
be part of the show.
This is Tidbits, the segment where we look ahead at games releasing for the week. Also, just for note, Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess demo, I think, hit today, right?
Mhm.
And what the First Descendant demo, is that already live or is that coming out soon?
I think it's already live, but the game. I think the game might actually be live tonight.
Oh, really? For First Descendant?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's 4-player co-op free to play, and then Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess is a game that's going to Game Pass day one from Capcom, and that's something I'm looking forward to a lot. So I'm gonna check out that demo.
okay, you're setting it. Okay,
Yeah, Fuzzy's got us. Fuzzy's got us.
cool.
Are we ready, Fuzz, to start, or just let me
give
know
me-
when?
Give me two more copies.
Two more copies. Keep playing the music. You what, the Tidbits music? You like the music? 2 a.m. Decado says for what? For First Descendant?
Let's go.
That sounded like the 3-Bit's got a situational disability there because he's got cats in the room when he's podcasting. So we need
That's my cat.
we need the microphone designers to be able to better filter out Fuzzy's cats during his podcast. It's
Let's go.
situational.
Yeah, situation.
You've decided
All right.
to put your podcasting career at risk by having cats, Fuzz.
All right.
It's a disability.
Yeah.
You got like how many
It's
cats? do you
just
got?
situational though. Fuzzy's got like 8 cats.
Not quite that many, but it's 5. It's
Wow!
oh,
Oh shit! I
wow.
was like, I was gonna say 5 at first. It's like I'll go even more extreme.
it's the original cat I brought home. Then my wife was like, "Oh, he needs a buddy." She just wanted her own cat because my cat was like I was his person, and she wanted a cat that could be cuddly. So she got herself a cat. And then when my sister passed, we got her cat. And then when my wife's mom or my mother-in-law passed, we got her 2 cats. So house full of
Nice.
cats, yes.
Nice.
And they only get together, or they only get along in pairs. So the first 2 cats
Oh.
get along. My sister's cat and one of my mother-in-law's cats get along, and then my other mother-in-law's cat doesn't get along with any of them.
Oh yeah, he's a solo.
It's fine.
He's
How many
leave him
cat
alone.
fights happen per day?
Because I keep the one that doesn't get along with any of them in the room with me and my wife.
Or is that the one that has
except for
half
when he
the
breaks
tail?
out.
Missing the tail?
Yeah.
Okay.
hmm And he tries to chew the other orange one's tail off.
Oh, okay.
He's I told you, if there's an if autism exists in cats, he has it because he doesn't understand what hissing means when they hiss at him to get away or get out of their face. He'll just walk right up to him, sniff him. He doesn't
No fear.
do normal cat stuff, but
Right.
he's different.
Different
All
cat.
We're gonna start off tidbits with
Oh, let's go.
Final Fantasy.
expansion $39.99. And it comes out basically tonight, or Tuesday,
Blue seas, clear
for
skies,
$39.99.
boundless
It's available on
possibilities.
PS4, PS5, Series X, Series S, and PC.
I dare say our
Yeah, Toga
destination
Gamer says
will
that's a lot of
soon
cat
be
shit. That's what I was thinking, man. I hated a litter box with one cat.
Yeah, there's at least 4 boxes. One on each floor, and then an extra one for the cat that doesn't get along. So.
From everybody's favorite developer, Creative Business Unit 3.
It's such a bad.
Coming from the legendary Creative Business Unit 3.
They gotta rename those studios.
Yeah.
Like, even if it was something as simple as the MMO studio or Final Fantasy on the Go
MMO
studio
Studio 3.
or something. Just
Not to be confused with Creative Business Unit 2.
it's right up on the floor downstairs or up the hall from Business Unit 3.
Studio 4.
Here at Square, we don't believe in giving our studios originality and creativity. We will name them the most boring concept we could ever think of.
Might you have a moment to speak further?
And a few people that I know that are playing Final Fantasy 14 or enjoying the new DLC because I guess they had early access to it. There is a free demo for the game, and then you have to do the monthly subscription type of deal. Or you can continue to play it for free, but then it limits you from further leveling, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, Froggy says, what is this music? Yeah, that might be the worst song I've ever heard in my fucking life. I don't know what it is. There was like 3 songs playing at the same time, and the main guy's like, yeah, I don't even fucking understand anything that was happening during that song. There was just a bunch of noise.
I didn't even hear the song. I had to read it.
This is Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, finally coming to Mac and iPhone or iOS. So your tablets, your iPads, your iPhones, and your MacBooks.
This is the scariest Resident Evil, in my opinion.
Oh,
That was
I'll be there just because of that trailer.
3-bit is sold, and you don't even have to buy it. 3-bit's free.
Why?
Free to play.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Now this next one is also free to play, but it has a $9.99 bundle that you can do on PlayStation. This is Zenless Zone Zero, coming to PS5, PC, iOS, and Android. Now I played this on PC. It's fun. Some of the characters are a little questionable for me, but outside of that, I would say this if you like if this is a more futuristic Genshin Impact essentially.
Right on.
It was aight.
Zeit.
No, I like the art style.
I kind of get Scarlet Nexus vibes from that a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, but that was it.
And then there's one more.
Oh, wait,
This is
okay,
the
okay.
last one. The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak.
Here in this city.
In the PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC for $59.99.
How far do you
It's
plan on
Friday.
taking this madness? Got a present for you. Boom!
Sony needs to keep this off the Xbox. Which one? You guys talking about Zenless Zone or you guys
This
talking about
one.
this? Oh, did they?
This one and Zenless Zone, like
The Hoyoverse, they have a deal. PlayStation has a deal with Hoyoverse.
Legend of Heroes.
Yeah.
Trails Through Daybreak.
Oh,
Coming to Nintendo Switch.
it is what it is.
yeah. But it's available on PC and it's free to play, so
Yeah.
And that's it.
Nice.
Right on, bro. Not a big week. Decent week. You got a couple cool games there. The Hoyoverse games are big, really big. So you have Zenless Zone 0, then you have First Descendant. Again, the demo for Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess is today as well. And yeah. Not a lot of other crazy cool stuff, but I think there's a Final Fantasy 14 content, which is big deal as well. Although that trailer, the trailer was good, but that song was the fucking worst song I ever heard before. I don't know what the hell that was or what.
Talking
what's
about
going
Final
on.
Fantasy?
Yeah, the Final Fantasy 14
Oh.
trailer song. Yeah,
That's
it
when
was
I had
like
it muted. I
5
didn't hear it.
songs playing at the same time. I couldn't hear it, even what's going on. It's just like this weird voice in the background, and anyway, yeah, guys.
Yeah.
First Descendant, that's I think the highlight, and I think until probably Avowed drops, that's probably when Path of the Goddess and Flintlock drop, those will probably be decent drop or decent community drops and stuff like that as well. But First Descendant is my highlight, and I think that will be, I wouldn't say a Destiny killer, but it'll probably do better than Warframe and reach almost Destiny levels, I think.
Also, there was a Capcom event today where they talked about the Dead Rising Deluxe remaster, and y'all were saying it looked pretty good, right?
Yeah, I watched. It was like part 1 and part 2. They were kind of going through what they changed from the original. They were saying they made like UI improvements so it's easier to look at the map, and that they made quality of life improvements as well. Like you can shoot and walk around at the same time like you couldn't in the previous ones, which I honestly don't remember. But and they didn't want to change the animations as much, but they made it somewhat more impactful. And then the graphics are
the graphics. I'm looking at a trailer. The graphics
a lot better.
Yeah, there's like
they have like
brand
real time
new.
lighting
Yeah.
now, and the characters like Frank and stuff like looks way better. Like it's really cool what they did there.
Capcom
Dead
really
Rising
knows
one-
how to do fucking remakes and remasters, bro.
They really do. I trust them with this game. Dead Rising 1 was like one of my favorite Dead Risings in the series. Like 2 was like okay for me, 4 or whatever. 1 was my favorite, so I'm actually getting kind of hyped for this one.
Yeah.
So definitely gonna check it out.
Did it say how much it was? Like,
I don't remember.
Like-
What for Ketsugami? Or for
No,
for
Dead
what do
Rising.
you call them? I don't think they did. I know there's 3
$50.
years or something like that.
50.
It'd be
I
$50.
think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's fair.
And that's
Yep.
dropping on September 19th. That's a franchise that I want to see come back. Like Capcom, Dead Rising, and Lost Planet. I want to see both of those come back.
And Dino Crisis, but
Yeah, and Marvel vs.
they gotta do
Capcom.
that.
I know they're bringing back the fighting collection, but I want to see a new one. You know.
take you for a ride. Yeah.
Anyway,
It's
Do
not
a
like
new Capcom versus or Marvel versus Capcom. I see. The funny thing is, I think they'll do that after they remix or remaster, well, not remaster, but like do like Super Street Fighter or Super Street Fighter Alpha, and then they'll do like a
Yeah.
Marvel versus Capcom.
maybe wait for the Switch too. Also, before they because they weren't able to put Street Fighter 6 on the Switch.
Yeah.
Which I think it would be. I think it would have sold well if they could have, right?
And apparently
Yeah.
Power Wash DLC tomorrow.
Yeah, man, dude, there's so much cool shit in Power Wash Simulator. I just finished Laura Croft's Manor the other night.
That's a thing?
Yeah, they have a bunch of Tomb Raider content, bro. I watched her manor.
Wow.
I watched her truck and bike or boat and truck. I watched her obstacle course.
You trying to take the butler's job?
Yeah,
That's the butler's supposed to do that.
but there's like Final Fantasy shit. There's Warhammer stuff. There's like a bunch of stuff in there, man. For Power Wash Simulator. But yeah,
That's
check it
pretty
out.
cool.
It is
Yeah,
really
I
cool.
think I will.
What they need is more fucking power wash, like stronger ones and more nozzles and all that kind of stuff. That's the content I want.
Alice in Wonderland tomorrow. You mean Borderlands? I was thinking Borderlands. I almost got really excited. There's this Netflix show called Alice in Borderlands. Dang it.
No Froggy, no. But yeah, everybody, thank you all so much for watching this episode of FSP. And it was a fun episode. You guys rock. And man, there's a lot of fun stuff to play right now and a lot of cool stuff coming out. But Fuzzy, tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Oh man, always awesome being on here with you, Mav, and you 3-bit. Love doing this show. Love having everybody in the chat and interact with us. Greatly appreciate you guys coming out. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're not already. For those who want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on the app, formerly known as Twitter, at Fuzzy_Belvedere. Then hope to see everybody here same time. Well, not almost the same time. Xbox Ultimate is on Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here. Same place, same channel. Hope to see you guys there. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, bro. And 3-bit, what about you, sir?
Yeah, everyone can find me on the Pixelated Echoes every Sunday at 8 o'clock. We finally came back. Yesterday we had a pretty fun show. Went through a lot of cool topics. And then you guys can find me here again every Monday at what we do 10 o'clock. And then occasionally you'll see me just make guest pop-up appearances on this channel. So just look out. I'm on Twitter at i3bit. And outside of gaming stuff, I'm working on the next slate of Aflac commercials. So you guys should start seeing them pop up just randomly, because if I say it a couple times, it'll just be on your algorithm. So Aflac. So now it'll be in your algorithm, and you guys will see it pretty soon. So look out for that. If you guys are in Atlanta, my sister is doing a bunch of murals, like really cool murals. If you guys are by Ponce City Market on the boardwalk, whatever, she just did a huge cowboy mural. So if you see it, take a picture, tag me in it. Let me know if you guys see it down there. So
Did you post a picture of this? I want to see it.
no, but I'll send it to you guys for
Yeah.
sure.
It's a
She
cowboy
just
mural,
posted.
like you don't mean like Dallas Cowboys, you mean like a cowboy, like
Yes, it's like cowboys and cowgirls, and it's like
Yeah.
this huge. I don't know how big it is, but it's on this building right next to the Beltline, and it looks
Yeah.
awesome.
I want to see it. I remember you showed the picture of one of our other murals on there. It was really cool. I forget who it was, but it was like a famous person that she asked to do a mural for.
Oh yeah, well maybe it was the blue one where a girl's like this or something, or I can't remember which one I
Yeah.
showed you guys, but definitely check that out. I'll put some pictures in the chat and maybe I'll post about it. But yeah, I'll see you guys. And Mav, tell people where they can find you.
Oh, thanks, 3-bit. Yeah, here. Fun speculation, and we'll have, like I said, there will be no PM in the PM Thursday. 7 p.m. Eastern times usually for Thursdays. This will be the second Thursday in a row. Last week was my daughter's birthday. This week, July 4th. So, there will be a long. It'll feel like a long time between PM and the PMs by the time we have the next one. But yeah, then Friday we will have a show. Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Xbox Ultimate Podcast. And everybody, again, appreciate you all. I hope you all have a great fucking night. Take it easy and peace out.
Bye.